February 20th, 1943. Kasserine Pass in Tunisia. The German 10th Panzer Division is closing in for the slaughter. 1 mile north, the target, green American troops in the floor of the pass. American forces have been in North Africa for 3 months, but this is their first big showdown with the warriors of the Third Reich. Allied leaders have decided that the American troops need more experience before taking on Hitler's main forces in Europe. But since landing in North Africa in November, they've only faced poorly trained French colonial units, not the Germans. Only 2,000 American troops guard the mouth of Kasserine Pass, backed up by 4 Sherman tanks, 36 tank destroyers, and 18 artillery pieces. They're facing 8,000 German attackers with 100 tanks and 65 artillery pieces.
Until you control those passes, you're not going to be able to push the Germans and Italians either out of Tunisia or force a surrender.
William Harper is a 21-year-old member of the 601st Tank Destroyer Battalion. He hails from Dallas, Texas.
Came in with their tanks supported by the infantry. Infantry came right along with them. And they had us outnumbered, outgunned, everything else.
Fellow Texan Lawrence Marcus is a 25-year-old lieutenant.
The German tanks were coming over the hill, stopping and firing, and shells were popping all around us.
Commanding the German attackers is a master of armored warfare, the Desert Fox, Field Marshal Erwin Rommel. Rommel's skill and fierceness are already legendary.
In all the actions that he led in North Africa, you can see the same themes of bold, aggressive action, leadership from the front, very much personally involved with the conduct of battle.
Rommel's key offensive weapon is the Mark IV Panzer. The Nazis' Mark IV tank is rolling death. Weight 25 tons, off-road speed 12 miles per hour. Thickest armor 3 inches, main gun 75 millimeters. As the tanks close in, German artillery and rocket launchers pound the American defenses.
It got pretty rough. We found out real quick that they were shooting real bullets at you.
The Americans are on the brink of collapse. The outnumbered Americans could use a tough battlefield commander like George Patton, but he's not in command at Kasserine. He's back in Morocco, planning the upcoming invasion of Sicily. The American in charge is Major General Lloyd Friedendahl. He's considered an excellent trainer of soldiers, but he hasn't shown strong battlefield leadership.
He really set his force up for failure. Rather than having depth in that defense, he employed his forces on a very broad front, all sort of pushed toward the front.
Friedendahl is also nowhere near the front line. He's playing it safe. 60 miles away. Within minutes, the German panzers punch through the thin American defense. As the widely dispersed American soldiers in the valley floor give way, defenders a mile in the rear consider their options.
Is it better to stand still and pop off a few rounds and hit yourself and be out of the picture? Or is it better to retreat and come back and fight another day?
When they put the pressure on up there and came through, everybody in his back.
Rommel's troops pushed the disheartened Americans back more than 50 miles.
It's a catastrophe. In terms of yardage lost, it's the greatest defeat of the American Army in World War II. There's a belief that, my God, can we fight these people? Are we good enough to fight the Germans?
19-year-old Tiford Roebuck of Tampa, Florida, witnesses the aftermath.
As far as you could see were American tanks with charred bodies. They were bodies that were not charged, had been pulled out and were naked. The Arabs had taken their clothes off from them. And this upset me emotionally. I openly cried. I'd never seen anything like this before.
Within a few days, British and American reinforcements slow the German advance. Then, Rommel decides to withdraw his forces back through the pass to shore up his eastern flank. Patton's son-in-law has been captured in the fighting, and after hearing the news, the general writes his wife, Beatrice, the show was very bad indeed. On March 4th, Theater Commander Dwight Eisenhower fires General Friedendahl and summons Patton. Patton is an old cavalryman and tank warfare innovator. He is also as aggressive as they come, and the difference between his leadership style and Lloyd Friedendahl's is instantly apparent.
How much more opposite can you get from Patton? I mean, he wants to be right up front, on the line, so he can make battle corrections immediately. He's got his thumb right on the pulse.
Friedendahl is basically hiding out in a cave. Patton comes to the front lines, meets with soldiers there. He improves mail delivery, he improves their food. He does the small things that are important to a soldier.
But Patton also sees that the demoralized troops need a kick in the pants. Military discipline is absent, and it's the backbone of successful armies.
He immediately starts handing out fines to soldiers who aren't wearing their leggings, who don't have neckties on when they're supposed to have neckties on, who aren't wearing their helmets. $15 fines right and left.
Lieutenant Lawrence Marcus is among a group of officers approached by Patton one day.
General Patton said, every man old enough will shave every day. Officers will wear ties in combat. And then he came up to about a foot in front of my face and said, and anyone wearing a wool knit cap without a steel helmet will be shot.
Within 10 days, Patton has Second Corps whipped into shape and on the attack, trying to squeeze Rommel into a deadly vice. The British